I will start with a very brief introduction. If somebody wants to listen to it later, they can also listen to it in the recording. So first of all, I would like to thank you all for finding the time and logging on to our webinar. So question is, why did we choose such a topic, Chinese innovation ecosystem, and why not educate you more about this topic? Well, actually, if you look into how Chinese startups and companies work, they do a lot of research on what's happening in the Silicon Valley, what's happening in the European innovation ecosystem. However, the companies in Europe often neglect what's really happening in Asia and China. So that's why we're today partnering up with NIHAB and informing you a bit more what's up and what's new in China and in Chinese innovation ecosystem. Also, I would like to introduce myself if some of you don't know me yet. My name is Agnes Stulmane, and I'm a representative of Investment and Development Agency of Latvia. Investment and Development Agency of Latvia, we have also office in China. So I'm a head of a representative here in China, particularly with a focus on Southern China. And so, as I already mentioned, today's webinar is brought to you by LIA as well as NIHAB. And NIHAB is an innovation center. It's located in Hangzhou. I don't know if all of you know Hangzhou. It's a city located around 1 hour away from Shanghai. And it's also the city where Alibaba is headquartered. So it's known in China for its innovation and really good innovation ecosystem. And today we have a speaker, Novak, who will be talking about this Chinese innovation ecosystem. And surprise, surprise, we have another guest speaker who's going to speak at the end. And he is someone from Latvia and someone I just very accidentally met in NIHAB. And he's going to also give his experience from what it's like to be in China. And furthermore, I also wanted to share with you a quick slide before I start. Oh, let me share the screen. Yes. Yes. Do you see my screen? Hope you do. There you go. Yes. And so we have another webinar upcoming on the 7th of April. And if some of you think this is interesting and would like to know more about China and how to scale up your business in China or how to raise funding in China, there will be another webinar on the 7th of April. And also for this webinar, you can register on our LIA website by the event section. Also, if after the webinar you still have some questions, inquiries, you can also always reach out to me. On the screen, you can see my email address as well as my phone number, which is also my WhatsApp and my WeChat. So feel free to reach out and ask if you have any additional questions. In order not to take more of your precious time, I will give not the stage, but the screen to Novak, who is going to be introducing us and immersing us more into the topic. Thank you so much, guys.
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Agnes, for such a warm welcome, and thank you for introduction. Hello, everybody. First of all, before we start, I would like to say thanks to our partners for making this happen and for this whole program, How to Scale in China. So very big thanks to Investment and Development Agency in Latvia. We are very excited for this program and for this webinar. And also before I start, as Agnes already mentioned, so during this webinar, we will have around 50 minutes of our main topic, and after that, guest speaker. Meanwhile, if you have any question, please be free to write down, and we will have at the end of the webinar Q&A session. So let me take some moments to share my screen. Okay, just a few seconds. Okay, so I'm hoping that everybody can see my screen now. Okay. So yeah, before I start to talk about China and opportunities in the Chinese market and why you should consider China, let me give a very brief introduction of myself. So as I mentioned, I'm Novak Biršić. I'm actually originally from Serbia, but I'm already 4 years based in China, and being in China, I've been in many different kind of industries. First of all, I started as an exchange student in 2016, and what is interesting, while I was there as exchange student, one company get in touch with me that is called Nalacare. So it's a Canadian company. They create deodorant, organic deodorant for the skincare. So if you guys want to check out, and while I was exchange student, they want to find packaging suppliers for themselves for their products in Canada. So it was a very interesting experience, and this experience also bring me to consider to come back to China, and which afterwards, after my exchange semester, I decided to enroll in Shanghai Jiao Tong University, which is one of the top universities in China. And after graduation, I worked with in internship in a very small digital agency. And afterwards, I was working from 2019 to 2020 in Porsche, China. And I must say that this was very interesting experience, because while I was at Porsche in China, actually I was working with figures and with dealership. And one interesting thing is that in 2019 they sold around 86,000 of Porsche cars. And as you can see, I worked till 2020 when Corona started. And what is interesting at that period is that they actually overlapped the sale in 2019. So even it was 2020 center of Corona pandemic, they oversold their cars more than in a previous year. So this can give you information and things how much this market, Chinese market, is very stable, and Chinese people have a strong purchasing power even in very difficult and critical situation. Okay, and yeah, afterwards I joined ACCELERATOR, where I work like a business developer manager. And as a business developer manager, I'm very excited to help many international startups and SMEs to come to China. So very quickly about the NIHAB. NIHAB is Accelerator and Innovation Center. And what we are doing, we provide one-stop platform where we help international startups and SMEs to land, but also to accelerate, to scale in China. And as you can see, all these blue fields are actually startups that we work with and that we help to come and to scale in China. And I hope one day we will have this field in Baltic area also a field after this webinar. So we use this sentence very, very often in here in China and in our company. In the West, everything is easy, but nothing is possible. In China, everything is difficult, but nothing is impossible. I'm sure that many people who are currently at the moment in China will very agree with me and what they say. But the point of this sentence is actually, when it comes to scaling and opening a startup and company, and you want to grow your business, while you're in Europe, you're familiar with the environment, you're familiar with the whole ecosystem. And if you want to scale, you want to scale in other countries because you're familiar, for example, Europe, Germany, UK, maybe France. But in order to really have a rapid growth, to really scale up your company, you cannot be that much successful like in China. In China, it is a huge market, very big potential and many opportunities for your company and your project to accelerate. So I know and I understand, the environment is different and the culture is different, the competition, the market, everything is different, but it's really not impossible. So why China? Why you should consider China as your second step, not as your third step or fourth step? Because we work with many European companies, from Switzerland, Serbia, to Dutch companies, to French companies, and we already know the mindset of the European companies and what is their timeline and plan when it comes to scaling up. And most of them are planning to scale one by one country and then go to AS, but let's talk about why actually China should be your second step of scaling up. So in order to talk about that, let's talk about some quick facts. So first of all, as you can see, on the left side, we have here two graphs, and on the left side is a stock market in third quarter 2020. Even it was a very difficult situation. You can see that China is very strong. Asia is actually very strong and very stable. But what is more interesting is the right side. So on the right side, you can see the air traffic. So how many millions of people in China travel per month? And you can see that in February 2020, the corona started, right? So we have a rapid decline in traveling, but already in October, we are already back. So Chinese people already in October are traveling very normal. The situation is very stable. So this can give you many insights and information how rapidly the market environment is coming back, how stable it is. And I can also tell you, like, from our perspective, and since we are now in China, I'm at the moment based in Hangzhou, so I can tell you that at the moment, I think that China is the most stable and probably the safest place, because we are very operative. We do all operations very normally. I think the only thing that we are still doing is using the masks. So I think that the China is very, very stable country and has a very stable economy. So when we talk about the market overview, what we can see is that on the right side, you can see that China is first regarding the list of innovation index. It is the first country in upper middle income. So in all this, comparing to all these countries that you can see that they're all high income, while China is upper middle income. And every time I check this list, I have to change the ranking. So last time when I was checking the ranking of China in innovation index, it was 16, and now it's 14. So it's really rapidly changing and really rapidly innovating. And what is more interesting is on the left side, you can see the 160 cities here in China has over than 1 million people. So if I'm very familiar, actually Latvia has around 1.9 million of people. So you have here, if you just penetrate in one city, you have chance and opportunity to go into more than 160 Latvias, which is great opportunity for you guys. So when it comes to the million of internet users in China, we have 989 million of internet users, which is actually 3 times more than US total population. And 98% of them are using mobile internet. When it comes to mobile payment, we have 53% of total population of China. They're using the mobile payments. And if you're guys following up now, the total population of China is 1.4 billion. And 42% of global e-commerce is happening in China. So this is like a very good and quick overview of the huge potential and how large this market is for you to scale up here, to come here and to try out to bring your projects and products. Okay, so next slide. Next slide is just a quick overview of venture capital in China and comparing to Europe. And as you can see, the venture capital is very active in China. We have more than 30,000 venture capital firms, around 25,000 number of deals, and total number of investments around 86 billion. So very active, very large market comparing to Europe, which is also not bad. Total investments are 33 billion. But if you consider to find investments and to find capital for your project, you can see how much opportunities you can find in China. I also put on the right side the Baltic startup scene. So as I can see, there's 706 million of USD of total investments, which is good. That I'm very happy to see this, because it means that this market, this country actually has good potential, has a lot of developed innovation. So I'm very happy to see that. Yeah, so a quick comparison regarding China and Europe. So on the right side, I already actually put a few graphs of researching and of researchers and R&D expenditures. So as you can see, in 2015, which is already old data, we have around 1.5 million of researchers. When it comes to number of applications, the China is the first. It has a yearly 1.2 million, and there's so many scientific and technical publications every year that comes from China. So when it comes to R&D expenditures, in 2060, you can see that China is trying to keep up with the US. So I'm not sure what is now the current data, because it's 2020. So I'm sure that it's very different and large differences. So on the left side, what I also want to see is to compare if you're planning to scale your company, if you plan to extend business and your service in different countries. So you have two choices. Usually companies are trying to go through Europe or US, but let's do like a quick comparison toward China. So countries in Europe, you have 50. China is just one country. Population, you have 850 million of population. China 1.4 billion. Languages 23, China 1. Laws, you have 50 laws in Europe. China is just one law, and currency also same, 25 currency in Europe, and China 1 currency. So this can give you like very good picture and overview how much easier it is actually for you to scale up your project in China and to come here and accelerate your company. So this is also one of the reasons why certain countries are actually very successful, such as Switzerland and Israel, because their second step are US and China. They're not trying to go market by market or country by country. And what is actually also interesting that I want to mention when it comes to China, China actually produce more engineers per year than US has in total. So China produced 4.7 million of new graduate engineers, while US has 1.6 million in total engineers. So maybe you can try to not come here, not use the opportunities in China, but you cannot ignore it. You have to follow up what is going on here. You have to see the situation. Many innovations are coming here. Many things are happening. China is very, very innovative countries, and you really have to follow up, because sooner or later, looking at this data, maybe similar solution that you are working on, it will come in China. Maybe you have already 3 alternative solutions in China, because there's so many researchers, patents, engineers. So yeah, let's do a quick comparison with the US. I will go very quickly, because I'm sure that you guys are very familiar with the US market, so you probably know a lot of things. But comparing to internet users in China, we have 904 million of users, while in US we have 298 million of users. So the differences are still big, that the market is huge. And if you have any software solution or any technology solution, I think the China is much larger and greater market and opportunity for you. When it comes to mobile internet, we have 62% of total population, which is 897 million of users. And as you can see, the growth is huge. So year-per-year growth is much bigger. And mobile payments, we are very used to mobile payments here in China. So 53% of total population in China are using mobile payments. And personally, I really don't since coming to China, I don't know, I don't remember when I use wallet or something like that. I'm sure that now due to situation, people start to use more payments online and mobile payments, but in China it's very widely spread. So yeah, quick overview of startup ecosystem. So as you can see, when it comes to startup ecosystem, China has around 227 unicorns. And on the right side, you can see cities in China. So right at the moment, I'm based in Hangzhou. And Shenzhen and Hangzhou, there seems always competing. Last time when I was also presenting this presentation and slide, the Hangzhou had more unicorns, but now at the moment Shenzhen. But what is interesting here is that you can see that some of Chinese cities has more unicorns than all other countries except China and US. So Shanghai has more unicorns than UK, India, South Korea, and all other countries. Shenzhen has also more unicorns than all other countries except UK and US. So really a lot of innovations, really a lot of unicorns in here, because the innovation is really growing up. So market environment, I think there's a few things that I would like to mention when it comes to environment. Let's start with the verticals. So of course there's like equal platform solutions and equal social media in China. And for example, we have Baidu on our side, and we have, when it comes to social media, QQ and WeChat. But what I want to say about this slide is that this is verticals from 2019. I also said the verticals from 2020, and I'm sorry for such a breaking down vertical, because vertical is growing and starting to be bigger. But what is interesting here is from 2019 to 2020, we have already many new players. So when it comes to videos, we have a Bilibili. When it comes to messaging, we have a DingTalk. Right now, at the moment, social media, 2020, definitely we miss here Xiaohongshu. So literate book that is also Chinese social platform. So from here, we can see that the market in China is very competitive and very fast. So new players are coming up, and they're fighting with each other, as I could say. So very competitive and big market. So from copying to be copied, of course, China started to copy innovations and copy solution in the beginning, but the reason why they started this way is actually because it's more efficient to learn innovation, to speed up the process of innovation. And actually, if you follow up and maybe do a deep research, Japanese automobiles, they actually also started by copying things from America. So they started to copy cars from America, and they were very bad. Everybody were laughing at their cars, but now at the moment we can see and we know that Japanese cars are one of the reliable cars globally. And Toyota is very reliable car, and a lot of Americans are also using. So this is the way that China also started. I also wanted to say about this thing, because many people actually think it's a culture, but it's not culture. I guess it's just efficiency of innovation and learning to be innovate. But the situation that we have now at the moment is that the China who was copying before now start to be copied. So when it comes to QR codes, I think in China we are using QR codes from 2011. So 2011, the Alipay developed the QR code. Now because of the corona pandemic situation, I know that in US and Canada, I'm not sure about Latvia, but now people are using QR codes for payment, for scanning, for ordering food because of the situation. But in China, we already have this in 2011. Live streaming started in China in 2012. I think now it's also booming globally, and it's also a big marketing trend and marketing channel. Super apps that I will give a few examples later, and also AI solutions. So AI solution I will also discuss later in the further slides. So to give you just very quickly examples of the super apps. So when it comes to super apps, basically that's a huge and large ecosystem that have many other mini apps inside. So for example, in Alipay, the app that you use for payment, at the same time, you can do so many things. You can order food, you can you can pay your bills such as electricity, water or whatever. You can buy stocks, so you can follow your order. You can top up your mobile phone. So many other things that you have in just one app. And what we see now here is that the super apps from China are being copied. So Facebook started to copy, Line in Japan, in Indonesia, Gojek is also start to copy the whole business model and the concept. Live streaming, you know, when it comes to live streaming in China, live streaming, I already mentioned, started in 2012. So right now, we say in China, the live streaming is entering third phase. What that means, it means that the traditional industry are using live streaming. So basically sports, concerts, every kind of traditional industry, they're doing live streaming and promote themselves. And what is also interesting that the e-commerce business model are getting copied from China. So we all know that Douyin or Chinese TikTok, actually you can purchase products. So we also see that what's happening on YouTube Shopping and also Instagram. And Instagram is now becoming more like an e-commerce platform than like social media. So intellectual protection, I'm sure that many of you were wondering about intellectual protection and what is the situation in China. That is why I really spend a few slides on it, so I can give a few examples. So as you can know, when it comes to intellectual protection, actually in China, Chinese government, they put a lot of focus and effort on protecting IP, especially for the global companies outside of China. So, you know, like in every country, you have to fill applications and you have to fill your patents, and that's what comes. This is what happened to China. So people are actually missing protecting their patents because they're not filling application in China. So when you apply internationally, you also have to apply also in China. And as you can see in the left side of the video, this is Premier of China, Li Keqiang, and he is talking about how government will make stricter regulation and policy and law when it comes to patent protection, and how the government is actually focusing on protecting patents and intellectual IPs. So, and I can promise you that if the government says this, so it will for sure 100% be done. So let me play quickly this video, so you can listen.
加强对知识产权的保护。
We will also enhance protection of intellectual property. In this respect, we will propose to make revisions to relative laws governing intellectual property protection. We will introduce a mechanism of punitive compensation to ensure that all infringements of intellectual property will be seriously dealt with, and such infringements will have nowhere to hide.
Okay, so we listen to Li Keqiang, and what I also want to say that China is a member of PCT, so Patent Cooperation Treaty, which is very important. It's from I think 90s already part, and what is also going on that China recently actually joined the HAC system for the industrial design protection, which means if you apply for your design protection in the HAC system, it will be directly protected in China. But as already mentioned, you know, if you want to protect your technology, to apply the filling, you have to do like everywhere. So you have to apply internationally, and then you apply to countries to protect your technology. So, and as you can see, because China is really working hard on this and really putting so many efforts, you can see on the right side, they they connect innovation and law. So they open internet calls to speed up the process of the infringements, which is very interesting. So we are based in Hangzhou. It is an e-commerce city. So they have so many cases. They really had a lot of cases, and in order to deal with these cases, that they open internet call to deal with it. And of course, I think I don't have to mention all protections you have here in China, such as trademarks, patents, and designs. So yeah, okay. So also what I want to mention that anti-monopoly law is really starting to be used in China. On left side, for the first time, China accepted the ByteDance case filing against Tencent, because Tencent started to block content of ByteDance, and now this lawsuit is still going on. And what is also interesting, that the government already actually fined few e-commerce platforms. So Alibaba also is on antitrust probe because they're forcing few vendors for selling exclusively on its platform. And also there's one more e-commerce platform that is fined for $400,000 for doing the same. So it's really getting more and more regulated, and China is actually a very strong country when it comes to regulation. But as I mentioned, it's a very opportunistic market. So you have first to apply patent filing here in order to be protected, because it's such a huge and opportunistic market, and if someone do that before you, then he will be protected. And on the right side, you can also see example of UK-based Jaguar. So they won the case against the Chinese copycat. And there's also one more interesting actually situation when it comes to Supreme. So one guy, he actually register and protect and apply patent filing in China, Supreme Italy. So it's not the same Supreme like Supreme in New York. And what is more interesting, because it's such an opportunistic market, that the Samsung was working with this Supreme. So it was very interesting. But of course, at the end, the Supreme for New York, because it's a strong brand and has such a strong evidence, they apply for the lawsuit against them, and of course they won the case. So successful cases, I'm sure that you guys, because it's such a competitive and fast market, are thinking, are there any successful cases when it comes to the foreign companies? And of course, there's so many successful cases here in China. So I think that the most interesting and the most referenced cases are definitely LinkedIn and the Starbucks. And what is more interesting, the Chinese people, actually, they don't drink coffee. So in China, the Starbucks open at around 4,300 shops in China. And they're very, very successful, very, very well established here in China. And also LinkedIn is one of the great cases to showcase. So when it comes to LinkedIn, the reason why they are very successful, so they have around 50 million of users in China, and the reason why it becomes so successful in China, because they adapt to the market. So they adapt to market, they listen to the government, and when I say this, listen to the government, I mean listening and following the rules, the regulation and policy. So these rules and regulations are for everybody, not just for global Chinese companies, but for global companies and Chinese companies. And what they're doing well is that they interact with locals. So they have a lot of local partners, which is very important in China. And besides that, they also adapt their brand and their logo. And as you can see, the logo is a bit actually different. And if you compare LinkedIn with the global LinkedIn, actually the color is different. I think the color is more deep blue. So they adapt very well to the market by interacting with the local institutions and by having the good market adoption. Next case that I would really want to talk about is Tim Hortons. So I'm not sure how many of you know Tim Hortons. Actually, Tim Hortons is basically a Canadian coffee supply chain, and they're basically like Canadian Starbucks, let's say. And I actually tried Tim Hortons in 2016, and that was the last time I was trying in Canada. But here in China, I'm using it very regularly, and it is interesting because they're so successful here in China, and the reason is because they really understand the Chinese consumer behavior. So before I say about the Chinese consumer behavior, I want to mention that they already opened 150 shops in 10 cities, and they're planning to open 200 shops here in China. And in order to open these 200 shops, they will be backed up by Chinese local institutions such as Tencent Holdings, Sequoia Capital, and Easterbell. And what they did, they very well integrate their services into the WeChat ecosystem. So yeah, this is the WeChat, and when it comes to WeChat, is Chinese big social media. I think it has around around the 1 billion of users. Also in China, it's around 1 billion, around 900 million of users. And what they did is that they create a mini app into the WeChat ecosystem, because Chinese consumers, as we saw from the facts and from the data, they use a lot of mobile payment, and they're really used to use their phones. And if you have access to 1 billion of people, then you really need to implement this mini app, and this is what they did. So Chinese people buy from the phones, they're using phones to order, and that's how the Tim Hortons also managed to be successful, because they gained the access into all these users. And what I also want to mention, when it comes to China, if you want to put your footprint in China, it's different than in West. So if you want to prove that your company exists, you need a website, right? But in China, it's different. If you want to show that your brand exists, you need a WeChat official account, because Chinese people, if they heard about your brand, about your company, they will actually type first in WeChat, in the search engine of WeChat, not in Baidu. So I think this is very important to know. Okay, so video game industry. I will talk very quickly. I think this is a very interesting industry in China, because it's very different comparing to others. So video game industry has around 665 million of gamers in China, which is, I think, really a lot. And it's a very profitable market in China. So they have around 43 billion of USD dollars of revenue, from which 31 billion of USD is in mobile game sectors. So why they're successful, they have totally different business model in China, and they really focus on different kind of customers. So I would like to ask, so maybe some of you can tell me, maybe you can type down in the messages which of these customers you think are the most relevant to gaming companies. So on which customers the game companies in China are focusing on. Can someone of you let me know, because I cannot see what people are writing.
Okay, so we have some people saying teenagers, some professionals. Okay, we have two answers, teenagers and professionals. And okay, one more for teenagers and one more professional. So we have two. Guys, give more answers, give more answers.
Okay, I think Erwin, you're not counting here because you maybe have more insights. But yes, so I will say that so people who think that professional, yeah, that's right. So Chinese gaming companies are actually focusing more on young professionals. Why? Because they have money. So, and what they're doing, they're developing games that you spend a very short amount of time. So people like this, they usually have many breaks during the work or spending their time in metro. So and they're actually willing to pay for to pay money for these games. So the Chinese gaming companies, they develop this type of games in order to gain more revenue. But of course, you need also to know how to attract. So they're doing attraction toward teenagers and kids in order to popularize the game. Okay, so let me go to the next slide, just a moment. So yeah, as you can see, generally the startup ecosystem in China is like a gladiator. It's a very fast, very competitive, and also it's difficult. Many companies are losing, many companies are appearing. So we like to say the startup ecosystem is like a gladiator arena. And you know, coming to China, it can be, you know, like racing with Ferrari or Lamborghini when you start and to come to China. Why? Because Chinese people have much more resources. So they have much more resources, network, and then they're really fast. So it's difficult to compete with them, but of course it's not impossible. So what do you need? You need someone that will help you, someone that will give you instant access to those resources and networks. So, and this is what we are here. This is why what is NIHAB doing here in China. So when you come here, we will connect you with most relevant partners, institutions that you need to be familiar with the whole business ecosystem in China. Okay, so start small, think big. So what we want to say about this is that we like to work with people who think this way. Why? Because we think that you should start small, but at the same time, you have to think big. You saw what is going on in China. You see what kind of environment it is. So you have to follow up. And if you want to survive, you have to, you know, take China into consideration, because many things will happen here. And you have to start small. We say this in a way that you start from Latvia, and this is a good to develop your project. But when it comes to scaling and accelerating your project, then definitely you have to go to big market. This is the second step that you should do. I don't say just China. I think that the US is also a very good move, because going to Europe to a very segmented market will lose a lot of time, a lot of effort. And why will do that if you have one big instant access to such a big market? So we like to work with these kind of people, and then we already have a lot of experience. So business ecosystem, I think this is also very important. So when it comes to business ecosystem in China, there are 4 pillars that you have to know. So investment, government support, talents, and market open to new technology. So when it comes to investments, you know, coming to China, I think you really need to find a way to find resources for your company. You need to establish operations in China. You need to build a team. You need people who will help you. So you need also to cover your costs and to use it for developing your project. So it's very, very important. Also talents. You saw that from the data that we show, you have a lot of engineers, but what is most important is also business development. So we have a lot of talents here in China and Hangzhou, and you need people who will accelerate your project. So who will help you and connect you with other partners and with other clients. So when it comes to investments, this is also like a quick overview, but I will not talk too much. Why? Because we have our next webinar on 17th of April, and and our CEO Lucas Rondes, he will go very deeply, very into details when it comes to investments and funding. But I just want to mention, you need definitely investments in China for your operations and to support your project, to pay salaries, to pay salary to yourself, to cover all your costs, and yeah, scale up your product. So for the government supports, I will also go very, very quickly. So I'm not sure did I mention, but I'm based in Hangzhou, and Hangzhou, the whole city is basically consider itself like an incubator. So they really provide a lot of support to international startups and entrepreneurs. So they really want to bring very innovative projects and a lot of talent. So they really subsidize a lot. Basically, each district is competing with itself with providing the support and the subsidies. And I will mention very quickly what kind of subsidies are here. So we have up to 1.5 million of RMB starting capital subsidies. So that is around 200,000 euros. If you need help and support when it comes to R&D, so to cover cost of your equipment, you can get up to 10 millions of RMB. We even have apartment subsidies. So basically, if you're an entrepreneur, you can apply for this program, and the government will pay for you and pay your rent. And we have our colleague here, James, and he also is one of these program applicants. And basically, the government is paying him 80% of his rent, which is, I think, crazy and very good at the same time. So the whole ecosystem exists here, you know, to support you and your project, and to enable you to focus on your project development. Okay, so market opportunity. I think this is also a very important topic, because we have so many market opportunities here in China, especially for you. So I will start with IoT, and we like to say AI IoT. I think it's a huge potential here in China because of 5G, because of smart cities, because of many things. So there's many need for the applications. I think this is very good opportunity for you, but also life science. AI is also very trending in China, and there's so many developed applications and need for that. I will say agrotech. Agrotech, I think, is a very interesting industry because it's the least digitalized industry. So it's that the government is also investing a lot into this, and it's also a very big opportunity for you to come with your technology and your solution. What I would also recommend is definitely B2B. So definitely, if you have a very unique, innovative technology, this is your competitive advantage. So especially in B2B sectors, if you have like a business model, or like, I don't know, some software application with good business model, I think it will be very challenging and difficult for you, because we saw that the situation in market. So Chinese people have much more resources, and they can really develop much faster. So B2B opportunities are definitely your best strength, especially if you have unique technology. Then you have a competitive advantage, and you will be really welcomed and actually have many opportunities to come here. So smart cities, I think that many cities in China are becoming smart due to 5G and due to data, and they also invest a lot. So having many applications and software solutions, but also devices, hardware, it's a good opportunity for you. 5G, I'm not sure, are you guys following how much Latvia is developed when it comes to 5G, but 5G centers here are all around. And what is interesting when it comes to 5G, you know, internet is putting everything online, but what I will say that 5G is actually doing opposite. It puts things from online to offline. So this is very big opportunity for you to develop these products and this technology and these devices, and that are very, very needed in China. And recently I also saw this article. They already developed 700,000 5G stations in China, but they're planning to build 600,000. So what we're gonna do with so many 5G stations? Well, we need a lot of technology to fill that need. So I think it's really, really good opportunity for you. So China, when it comes to data, we like to say that China is Saudi Arabia of data. So, you know, in the Chinese market, the Chinese consumers, they're really willing to provide their information, actually, unlike in the West. So Chinese people are really willing to also try new technology and to give their information which is good for you, so you can easily pivot your project, you can easily test your project. So it's really good environment for entrepreneurship and for innovation. And this is also the reason why China made so many innovations and so many good technology and business models, because they can easily and rapidly test. So I think this is very interesting and very good opportunity for you that you can use. And yeah, well, data is also good because I would like to connect with the things before. Data is also good to make good smart cities. So if we have data, we can make better solutions. We can know where, what, and how you are doing. So yeah, because of the data and the smart city, the technology is leading to industry agnostic benefits. So there's a lot of developments in security, in health, in sustainability, and many other industry. So I think this can be very, very good for you guys, for IoT, for hardware solutions, so for devices, very, very good opportunity for you to come to this market. Okay, so I am based in Hangzhou. I think I already mentioned, and Hangzhou is actually a very smart city, and even it has IoT town based on the south side of the Hangzhou. Hangzhou is now very actually popular because of the Alibaba supported here, and all Alibaba business units are based here. So it's a very interesting city and very smart, and it's very, very good opportunity for you guys to come here, because the government provides many subsidies and support to entrepreneurs. So finally, I will give very quick introduction to NIHAB. So NIHAB, I already mentioned that we are accelerator and innovation center in Hangzhou. So what we are doing, we provide one-stop platform to the startups and SMEs. But as you can see, our main focus is actually acceleration. So we have a few acceleration programs that we have on a quarter basis, also through government relations. As I already mentioned, government here is very rich in resources and network, but not just that, it can provide you a lot of capital, a lot of subsidies. And of course, we have a large network of partners inside Hangzhou and also in China, but also outside globally. So we have a lot of entrepreneurs and startups here. So we organize on a weekly basis community events and of course investments. So when it comes to investments, I think what I also maybe miss to say is that through investments is actually a good way to accelerate your startup, your project, because you know how we do, we are never main investor, we usually co-invest. So because we want to find lead investor for you, and that is good because the investor will not just invest his money, but he will also provide you a lot of resources and his network. And of course, in order to come here, we provide support of incorporation. So in order to come, we will help you and support you to establish company here, to define your structure, shareholder structure, and to register company. We have here 2 co-working space, so you already have establishment here and very quickly, and we can also provide you our network and resources. Why Hangzhou, I think I already mentioned a few times, so I will just go very quickly. We saw that it's a big ecosystem here for startups and entrepreneurs, from government subsidy supports. We have many corporations here and digital giants. So in Hangzhou, Hikvision is also based, Geely automotive company. They bought Volvo a long time ago. NetEase gaming company, a lot of also other e-commerce companies that actually pull a lot of tech talents to come here, and also talent apartment that I mentioned. So yeah, this is a co-working space that we have. So coming here, you have already all-in-one in-house, and we can provide you office for your project. And this is the office where I'm now based at the moment. Operation service. When you come to China, you need to deal with, you know, many administration processes and things, and we also provide you help, and also you need to provide book account on monthly basis. So we have this tax and accountant services, and also HR service to deal with these kind of things. investments very quickly, I already mentioned. So we usually focus on angel to Series A stage. And this is the sectors that we are focusing on. But of course, we are very happy to hear any project that has a huge potential. Okay, this is one of the cases because I'm sure that many of you are wondering how we help companies to come to China and to scale up. So we have many cases, but I will share this one. Dashmod. Dashmod is a big data AI company, and what they're doing, they're actually pulling information for images. So they pull information for images and they provide customized report to the brands. And we met them in Netherlands in the event, and they start to consider opportunities in China. Is it possible to come China? Can I open company here? Do I need a partner? No, you don't. So we remove all these concerns and help them to register company here, which is 100% owned by them. So you don't need a partner to open a company. It can be your company 100% owned. We push them for a few competitions where they got some prize, they got investments. And yeah, now they have offices all around the world. Okay, I will quickly skip this because we have more than 80 startups, and if I go each case by case, we will spend a lot of time. So acceleration programs, very quickly, we do corporate acceleration programs. So we're done with Coca-Cola, as Coca-Cola is actually in very traditional industry, so they want to be more innovative, and in China, quality is actually very important, so they focus on quality, digitalization, and automatization. And we also done with Valid. So Valid is a Brazilian listed company, and they do payment solutions, SIM cards, and they want to come to China and also to come to this environment. So we help them to connect them with also Chinese startups and startups globally to make them to be more innovative. And yeah, this is just a very quick overview of our clients. So we have at the moment around 50 startups here. We have more than 80 startups. And yeah, this is just a very quick overview of the companies that we help and that I already actually mentioned. And because we have big community here, we have we also organize field trips very regularly where we connect you with other companies and institutions. And yeah, just very quick overview of our community. So yeah, that is it. I hope, guys, you really enjoy this webinar and this topic about the Chinese innovation ecosystem. And before we finish, I would really like to invite and to call one of our NIHAB members and also your fellow Latvian, Ervin, who is a member of NIHAB and who is already based in China. So he can tell you more about his experience.
Hey, thank you, Novak. Labrīt, Latvia. Hello. I'm today in Hangzhou over here. You can see it's totally different perspective to the world. I myself, as a person that comes from a small city, no, it's not even a city, it's a town, Ludza, with less than 5,000 people living there right now, I guess. There's a big change in life. So I do have a few slides to share with you guys if you are still here with us, because I'm the big surprise, the well-kept surprise, as Agnes said in the beginning. Let me share my screen with you. And I will also give you an insight how it is to live here in Hangzhou, because I'm based here, and what are the opportunities. So I'm sharing the screen with you right now. The long story short, this is me, Miha Labrīt. I'm from Latvia, and I'm currently in Hangzhou over here. That's the other side of the continent, literally. When I first was asked how to introduce myself in one of the events back in Latvia in 2019, I said, well, I'm the guy who is not afraid to get lost in Daugava rapids and be found in Yangtze Rivers Delta, where I am right now. Because actually, if we just think about just a little bit of a few sentences about this philosophical perspective, well, Daugava River and Yangtze River are not that different, although they're 6 times in size, right? But also for Latvia, Daugava River is the river of faith, and we have a lot of energy and electrical power coming from Daugava River. And the same thing about Yangtze. It also facilitates the biggest hydro hydroelectric power plant, right? It's the longest river in Asia and Europe combined, and one of the longest in the world. So technically, I would say I still feel like home. Only this home here in Hangzhou in China is 6 times bigger and maybe multiple times more fast growing and than back in Latvia. So actually, I'm here from this my home place. I grew up on a farm in Ludza, as I told you before. And after that, I went to Riga, where I studied architecture. I'm an architect. I participated in different interesting activities, doing some crazy stuff. That guy, naked guy, it's me. So promoting a healthy lifestyle and collecting trash, recycling trash, which actually China is very good at right now. So all these small things. And basically, after all that, I ended up in China over here. So I came here in 2017. Then 2019, I graduated from Zhejiang University, which is one of the top 50 universities in the world. That was a coincidence. I saw a post on Facebook, and so I got here. But after that, I can call Hangzhou and China my third home now, after Ludza, Riga, and now it's Hangzhou, which is actually a pretty convenient place to be at. It's one of the most beautiful places for sure, from many perspectives, and I'm not the only one who says that. It's very close to Shanghai, and basically it's so close that you can pay 10 euros and just 15 minutes of your time, and you are in the biggest city of the world. And also another thing is Ningbo is also very close. And actually these two cities, Shanghai and Ningbo, are number 1, number 4 biggest ports in the world, if we consider the cargo, which is also very convenient for doing sales for some big businesses, which I am not. I do have a small startup, and I'm landed right now in Nihub. Thank you for that, to the Nihub and Lucas, the founder. And I'm here having a startup which is linked with pets. So basically, that's another interesting fact about China, that the pets market is just growing rapidly, and there are more and more pets living in cities with people basically every week. There's almost a few million more of them. And we just saw there's an opportunity, and that's what I'm doing here right now. And I'm starting from scratches. I don't have millions of investment. I don't have even tens of thousands of investment. All I have is my time and the team and the problem that we are willing to solve here in China. And again, based on that, having good friends and having a backbone and Nihub and many other helpful organizations in Hangzhou and also in China, it's very, very, very useful, and very thankful for that. Because I will not tell you a lot about the project itself. I mean, you can message me and maybe I can tell you more. But technically, if I just add a few more facts about China, I mean, China alone in 2017, they had almost as many mobile users as the whole rest of the world, excluding Latin America and Africa, if we consider just the market. However, this is all data, and actually China has surpassed. And technically, if we look for some online solutions, I mean, China is the place to be at. And if I just compare with some things that we have back in Latvia, like Smart ID and Latvia Puncelē, that's something that recently getting more popular back in our country, right? However, here in China, since I'm here, basically these two platforms, Alipay and WeChat, they combine all these things I will just show you right now: Bolt, Mobily, Latvenergo, Riga, like you just name it, all these companies, and you can access all of them and do all the payments you need just with a few clicks, not leaving one platform you're using, which again is, I must say, pretty convenient. I don't have to remember too many passwords and all these small things, which make life easier. So as I said, I am the example of a typical startup. No sleep, no money, no ability to travel, unfortunately, but that's for all of us. We are looking for some investments, and also, as Nihab said, also with the help of Nihab, in some regions you can apply for government fundings. And then we won one of such competitions last year in November. So we are expecting to receive up to 40,000 euro angel investment to develop the startup. And just to say, like, if we just come back to the market size, which is interesting, just the pet market in China, only in China, is just $4 billion short of the overall GDP of Latvia in 2019. As I said before, like this 6 times scale of Daugava River and like Yangtze River is just, you can just bring the same scale to literally every other thing, including such thing as some big businesses and monies. And so, yeah, so here we are having fun in Hangzhou. The team is not complete, although we are positive and we're expecting very soon to have to be able to travel again, which would help us a lot, and also for you guys, depending on if you have a big company looking for some sales channels in China, or maybe you are willing to have something crazy like I did, just moving to different country with different language, different culture, and start something. Then my suggestion is basically find a good partner for that, because you can do that alone. However, if you have a friend, and in this case, it could be an official, like a company like NIHAB or LIA, Latvijas Investīciju Aģentūra, they also have, they can give you a hand in that. And basically, welcome to Hangzhou. I mean, everyone, me, my team, my dog, we will be very happy to have you here and share our experience. And also contact me later on privately on WeChat, LinkedIn, Facebook. I'll be happy to share some more details. But from me, that's it. Thank you for having me here. If you have any questions, I guess we have a few minutes of time to answer them online, or maybe afterwards, after this is over. But that's it for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Edwin, and thank you, Novak. I think the presentation was really interesting. It is not only interesting to understand what's happening in the Chinese ecosystem, but actually to see, hey, there's an actual real Latvian who actually is already there and already having his own startup. And as I said, it was kind of like actually an accident when I went the first time to Hangzhou, not even to Hangzhou, to Yuhan, where one of the NIHAB locations is located. And Novak was like, hey, by the way, there's one Latvian sitting here. I was like, wow, that's surprising, because there's really not a lot of Latvians in the world in general, and particularly not in China. So we got very lucky with that. Thank you, Edwin. Thank you, Novak, once again. Guys, if you have any more questions, let's do 1, 2, 3 minutes. If you have any questions that are still quite important to you and you would like that the panelists are answering now at the moment. If not, you can also submit some of the questions either to Novak or to me, and we will follow up with them afterwards. But I will give you a few seconds to think. Maybe you do still have some questions.
Yes, I will also like to add, guys, please don't be shy and be free to ask us any questions. So we will be very happy and excited to answer. Do we have any? I think we have Q&A box
regarding question. The IP, which you already mentioned throughout your presentation. As well, I want to point out that we have a YouTube channel. Leah has a YouTube channel. And a few months ago, we actually did a whole webinar on IP protection. And so the person who also asked the question regarding IP, I will also send a link regarding a whole seminar on IP protection in China.
I think I saw in the Q&A box a question by Nicola. So shall we go with that?
Yes. Yes, please do.
Okay, so from Nicola. Hi, Nicola. Well, great presentation. Thank you so much. If we want to start an app in China, can NIHAB also help finding a customer niche, as we don't understand Chinese market? So first of all, Nicola, thank you so much for question. First of all, I'm not sure do you already have a project or you're developing, but usually the companies who are trying to scale up in China, they're very familiar with their project and the company and the business model and who are their customers. And I think this is also companies' responsibility and job. However, we have many cases that companies are not sure, is this a right market? So we do give advices. Knowing the industry and the market in China, we can of course help you to find better market niche. But at the same time, we have actually many roadshows. We organize many roadshows, and there are a few competitions here in China, also organized by NIHAB or by some city level competitions, where you can directly pitch if you're not sure about your business model or who should be a consumer. So you can directly pitch through this competition or through delegation in the roadshow, and you can get directly feedback from the investors. So I think this is the best way to evaluate your business model and who are your right market niche. But of course, we do give advices. However, we like to confirm it practically, very, very practically. So I hope this answers your question.
There was also a question from Eric on the chat box, okay. Whether we could receive some more information about the acceleration program.
Okay, so for the acceleration program, I think we will share this in the PPT. So I will give to Agnes, and also please be free to get in touch with us, to Agnes or to me. So you saw the email of Agnes, or also get in touch with me at novak@nihab.com. So if you have any also other questions, please be free to get in touch with us, and we will come back to you and reply. But for the acceleration programs, we have many. We have corporate acceleration programs and programs that we organize. So yeah, please get in touch with us, and we will give you more details.
Okay, one more question in the question box. We are a deep tech business in electronic components. Again, it's a bit difficult to connect. Do you recommend going through any program in particular?
So really depends. So we have to know more about your project. I think deep tech is very good, and there's many breakthrough and very, very interesting to Chinese market. So in order to follow up, you really need to, take a deep look into your project. So we usually ask for pitch deck, and then we will give you feedback. So please get in touch with us, and we will give you back feedback. And also, as Agnes already introduced, we have this program, How to Scale in China. So I suggest you to follow up. We will have one more webinar about investments, and afterwards we have a roadshow. So if you're interested into Chinese market, I suggest you to apply for this roadshow, and also evaluate your project at the same time, and you can get the awards to come here to China and to get in contact with the whole ecosystem. So yeah, I hope I reply your question.
All right, I'm seeing some remarks that people are super excited to join the roadshow, so which I'm glad to hear. So stay tuned. Do tune in for the second webinar that we'll be doing on the 7th of April. There's also going to be a recording uploaded on YouTube from this webinar. So if you have friends or colleagues who want to join for the second, miss the first but still want to watch it, go to YouTube, and we'll see you, I guess, all on the 7th of April. And also, don't forget, the application procedure for the roadshow is also open. So more information is in our website. Thank you, guys. Edwin, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.